Picture this. You've made it through security. You're calm, confident, rolling your carry-on toward the gate. You've flown with this bag countless times before, never a problem. And then it happens. The gate agent stops you. Out comes a small handheld scale. They hook your bag, lift it up, and in seconds, the screen flashes red. 23 pounds. Overweight. Sir, you'll have to check this. That'll be $100. And just like that, your perfect trip has started with a punch to the wallet. Here's the truth most travelers don't realize. Airlines have quietly lowered their unofficial carry-on limits. It's no longer just about whether your suitcase fits in the overhead bin. Now it's about weight. And depending on the airline, the hidden limit could be as low as 15 pounds. 18 if you're lucky. Maybe 22 at best. Why are they cracking down? Because baggage fees are their silent jackpot. Last year alone, U.S. Airlines raked in over $6.5 billion from these charges. Every passenger caught at the gate with an overweight bag becomes another payday. And it doesn't take much to push you over the line. A single pair of sneakers adds 2 pounds. Your laptop? 3 more. A couple of souvenirs from duty-free? Suddenly, you're tipping the scale at 24 pounds, and you never saw it coming. So how do you fight back? Simple. Weigh your bag at home with a cheap luggage scale. Shift heavy items, like laptops, chargers, or shoes, into your personal item. Airlines rarely weigh backpacks. And here's a trick seasoned travelers swear by. Wear your heaviest jacket through security. Fill the pockets with small items. Those pounds add up fast, and they don't count against you. Do this, and you'll walk past that gate agent with total confidence. But don't get too comfortable just yet, because even if you beat the scale, there's something else hiding in your bag that can still get you flagged. Something so simple, so ordinary, you probably carry it every single time you fly. Your water bottle. Picture this. You're at the TSA line. You've done everything right. Your toiletries are sealed in the clear plastic bag. Your laptop is sitting neatly in its own tray. And in your hand is your water bottle. It's completely empty. You're planning to refill it at the fountain once you're past security. The belt moves. Your bag slides into the scanner. For a second, everything seems fine, until the belt suddenly stops. An officer pulls your bag aside. The culprit? That empty stainless steel bottle. Here's the hidden truth most travelers don't realize. To the X-ray machine, stainless steel bottles are like solid black bricks. They block everything inside, which means the scanner can't see through them. And to TSA, that's a problem. An empty hydro flask, a Yeti tumbler, even a basic insulated mug. All of them can be flagged as suspicious. Agents are trained to treat opaque containers like this with caution. And that's why so many frustrated travelers tell the same story. Their bag gets stopped. Their bottle gets swabbed for explosive residue. Or worse, the officer simply says, "You can't take this through." Suddenly, a bottle that cost you $40 ends up in the trash just so you can make your flight. But there's a simple fix. If you want to stay hydrated without the headache, bring a clear plastic bottle or a collapsible silicone one. They show up perfectly on the X-ray, no questions asked. If you prefer stainless steel, take off the cap and place it openly in the tray. A quick glance inside is usually enough to clear it. These small steps mean you'll breeze through while other passengers are still being held up. And yet, bottles are just the beginning. Because if TSA thinks an empty bottle is suspicious, wait until you see what happens when they spot powders in your bag. Protein shakes, baby formula, even makeup jars. There's a hidden 12-ounce rule almost no one knows about, and it can derail your trip instantly. Picture this. You've cleared your water bottle without an issue. You're feeling confident, your bag is sliding through the scanner smoothly. But then the agent's eyes narrow. They stop the belt. They point to your toiletries bag. And before you know it, they're pulling out that container of protein powder you packed for your trip. Here's what most travelers don't know. Powders are one of TSA's biggest hidden triggers. Anything over 12 ounces, roughly the size of a soda can be flagged for additional screening. Baby formula, protein shakes, instant coffee, even something as harmless as face powder. The reason? On an X-ray, powders can mimic explosives. They look suspiciously similar to substances agents are trained to watch for. That's why you'll sometimes see travelers being pulled aside, their powder containers opened, swabbed, and tested for traces of dangerous chemicals. And if the officer isn't satisfied, that expensive container of pre-workout or your favorite imported coffee could be tossed into the trash on the spot. Imagine losing something worth $50 or $60 before your trip even begins. So how do you avoid the powder trap? The fix is straightforward. Never travel with large powder containers if you can help it. Instead, pre-portion them into smaller jars, each under the 12-ounce limit. Even better, buy single-serving packets of protein or coffee before you fly. If you absolutely need to carry a larger quantity, declare it up front to the TSA officer. A simple heads-up shows you've got nothing to hide and often speeds up the inspection. These little steps can save you from long delays and the heartbreak of losing something you rely on. But here's the kicker. If you thought powders were strict, just wait until we get to liquids. Because even luxury items you've spent hundreds of dollars on, yes, perfumes and colognes, are still at risk. And TSA won't hesitate for a second to take them away. You're rushing through security, feeling good. Your bag is light, your powders are portioned, and you're thinking, nothing can go wrong now. But then the officer pulls out a bottle. Not just any bottle, your favorite designer perfume. The one that cost you over $100. And before you can even explain, the agent shakes their head and says, "This can't go through. Gone. Confiscated in seconds." Here's the painful truth. Liquids are the strictest rule in the entire TSA playbook. Anything over 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if the bottle is sealed, half-empty, or brand new from duty-free. If it's too big, it's not getting on the plane with you. And here's where it stings most. Travelers often assume duty-free purchases are safe. But if you're connecting flights and pass through another security checkpoint, that sealed duty-free bag may no longer be valid. Agents can still confiscate it. Imagine buying a $200 bottle of Chanel at one airport only to see it tossed away at the next. So, how do you protect yourself from the luxury liquid trap? The fix is simple but crucial. Always travel with travel-sized bottles, 100 milliliters or less. Most designer perfumes now sell rollerball or travel spray editions. Or you can buy refillable atomizers that let you take just enough for your trip. These tiny bottles fit perfectly into your liquids bag, pass every TSA test, and still give you that confidence boost before stepping off the plane. It may feel unfair, but once you know the rule, you'll never lose another expensive bottle again. And as painful as losing perfume is, the next trap can hit your wallet even harder. Because when it comes to food, a single mistake could cost you not just your snacks, but a fine of up to $300. You've just landed after a long flight. You're tired, hungry, and you remember the apple you tucked into your bag for later. Seems harmless, right? You take it out as you pass through customs, only to be stopped by an officer. Moments later, you're being handed a slip of paper. A fine? $300 for an apple. Sounds extreme? It happens every single day. Here's the truth most travelers never realize. Many countries, including the United States, Australia, and island destinations like Hawaii, enforce strict agricultural import laws. Fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, and even certain packaged snacks are treated as potential threats to local ecosystems. One small piece of fruit can carry pests or diseases capable of devastating crops and costing millions. Customs officers take it seriously, and they don't care whether you forgot it was in your bag or not. That's why the penalties are so harsh. $300 for a single undeclared item. And if it looks intentional, fines can soar even higher. Imagine being stopped in front of a line of passengers, embarrassed, forced to pay a fee that's more expensive than your entire flight. But here's how you avoid it. The fix is simple. Always finish your fresh food before landing. If you've packed fruit or a sandwich, eat it on the plane. Stick to sealed, commercially packaged snacks like chips, cookies, or protein bars. They're usually allowed. And above all, when in doubt, declare it. Even if it turns out to be nothing, customs agents appreciate honesty, and declaring saves you from the automatic fine. It may feel like a small detail, but it's the difference between walking out of the airport free and clear, or starting your trip $300 in the hole. And if you thought food fines were strict, wait until you hear about luggage itself. Because the next trap isn't about what's inside your bag, it's about the bag itself. Smart luggage with built-in batteries has been quietly banned by many airlines. And travelers are learning the hard way at the check-in counter. You roll up to the check-in counter with pride. Your suitcase isn't just a bag, it's a piece of tech. Sleek, modern, with a built-in charger so you'll never have to fight for an outlet again. You place it on the scale, hand over your passport, and the agent suddenly freezes. "I'm sorry, this bag isn't allowed." Your heart sinks. They point to the label on your suitcase, smart luggage with a non-removable lithium battery. In that instant, you're faced with a choice: abandon your bag or miss your flight. Here's what most travelers don't know. Lithium batteries, the kind that power your phone or laptop, are also inside many smart suitcases. And if that battery isn't removable, airlines consider it a fire hazard. Why? Because lithium batteries overheat, and in the cargo hold, a single spark can mean disaster. That's why many carriers, from American to Delta to international lines, have quietly banned smart luggage unless the power pack can be detached. It doesn't matter how expensive the bag was. It doesn't matter if you've flown with it before. If the battery can't be removed, you're not getting on the plane with it. Travelers have been forced to ditch bags worth hundreds of dollars at the airport just to make their flights. So what's the fix? Before you fly, check the specs of your bag. Make sure the battery is under 100 watt-hours and easily removable. If it pops out, you can carry it with you in your personal item, and the bag itself can go in the hold without a problem. And if you're buying a new suitcase, always choose one with a detachable pack. Because in the world of modern air travel, tech can be a lifesaver, but it can also get you grounded. And that's not the only battery you need to worry about. The next trap hides in something you probably already carry in your backpack: your power bank. And this one has rules most travelers don't even know exist. You're on a long flight. The cabin lights dim, your phone battery drops to 10%, and you reach for your power bank, the little lifesaver you bought online. But when your bag goes through security, the agent pulls it out, frowns, and says, "This can't fly." Suddenly, the one thing you counted on to keep you connected is gone. Confiscated. Here's the insider truth. Power banks aren't just convenience. They're also risk. Anything above 100 watt-hours, roughly 27,000 milliamp hours, is restricted. Some airlines allow up to 160 watt-hours, but only with special approval. Anything larger than that? Completely banned from flights. The reason is fire. Lithium-ion batteries can suffer what's called thermal runaway. If they overheat or short-circuit, they can burst into flames. And in the sealed cargo hold of a plane, that's a nightmare scenario. That's why airlines insist power banks must always travel in the cabin, never checked. And it's why oversized ones are pulled immediately. The problem? Many cheap brands online don't clearly label their batteries. You think you're buying a normal charger, but it's secretly oversized. Travelers discover too late standing at security, as officers toss a perfectly new device in the bin. So, what's the fix? Always check the label on your power bank. Look for the watt-hour rating, not just milliamp hours. If it's under 100 watt, you're safe. Between 100 and 160, Call your airline in advance to confirm. And never pack your power bank in checked luggage. Always keep it in your personal bag where the crew can act quickly if something goes wrong. Follow this rule, and you'll never be stranded mid-flight with a dead phone. But here's the thing. Even if your tech is safe, airlines have another trick to squeeze money from you. And this one doesn't involve gadgets at all. It's hidden in the very clothes you wear to the airport. Picture yourself at the check-in counter. The agent lifts your bag, eyes the scale, and shakes their head. Overweight. You're seconds away from a surprise fee. But then you pull off a simple move that flips the situation on its head. You unzip your suitcase, slip on a bulky hoodie, throw a jacket over it, and suddenly the weight drops, just enough. The agent nods. You're safe. No fee. This is the layering hack. And airlines hate it. Here's why. Every pound matters. Airlines make billions from baggage fees, and they rely on passengers stuffing all that weight into bags they can charge for. But clothing, that's free. They can't weigh the jacket you're wearing or the vest with hidden pockets, which means every pound on your shoulders is 1 pound less they can charge you for. Frequent travelers have taken this to genius levels. Some wear travel vests loaded with electronics, chargers, even paperback books. Others walk onto the plane looking like they're headed for the Arctic, only to strip down once they're safely in their seat. Security doesn't care about layers. What they care about is liquids and electronics. So, as long as you're not hiding a bottle of water, you're in the clear. The fix is simple. Pack a lightweight travel jacket or vest with plenty of pockets. Wear your heaviest shoes, sweaters, or coats through security. And don't be shy about stuffing your pockets with small but heavy items like power banks or toiletries. What looks like fashion is actually strategy. This single move can save you from overweight fees, give you more packing space, and ensure you walk past the gate agent with confidence. But even if you outsmart the baggage scale, another hidden trap is waiting. This time, it's not about what you pack or wear. It's about where you sit, and the wrong seat assignment could cost you your bag altogether. You finally make it onto the plane. You're relieved, because your bag is within the limits, and you've dodged every trick so far. But as you walk down the aisle, something feels off. Overhead bins are already filling up. By the time you reach your row in the back, the bins above your seat are crammed shut. The flight attendant blocks your way. I'm sorry, you'll have to check that bag. And just like that, the game is over. You're forced to hand over your carry-on at the last second, risking damage, delays, or even fees. Here's the truth. This isn't just bad luck. Airlines design their boarding process to make this happen. Passengers seated in the back of the plane often board last. By the time they reach their row, overhead bins are already claimed by those who boarded earlier. It's a subtle shuffle that increases the odds of passengers being forced to gate-check their bags. And when you're desperate, airlines get what they want. Another baggage fee, or at the very least, your carry-on out of your control. So how do you protect yourself? The fix is in your seat choice. If you can, book seats closer to the front of the plane. Boarding groups are often called by row, and front seats usually get access earlier. Another option is paying for priority boarding, a small fee up front that could save you from the far bigger hassle of checking your bag. And here's an insider trick. If you're traveling with family, you often get to board earlier, even if you're not in the premium groups. Use that to your advantage, because once your bag is in the overhead bin above your seat, it's yours, safe, secure, within reach. But even if you win that battle, there's still another risk, one that no seat assignment can protect you from. What happens to your valuables if your bag does end up in the cargo hold? Spoiler alert, those fragile stickers might not mean what you think they do. You're standing at the check-in counter, clutching your bag. Inside is your brand new camera, carefully wrapped, or maybe that delicate souvenir you picked up overseas. You hand the suitcase over reluctantly, but you breathe a little easier after sticking a bright red label on the side. Fragile. You think that sticker is your shield. that your belongings will be handled with care. But behind the scenes, reality is very different. Here's the harsh truth. Baggage handlers don't treat fragile the way you think. In fact, many admit that the sticker means little to nothing. Bags are loaded by the hundreds, often under strict time pressure. They're tossed, stacked, and shoved into cargo holds with little regard for what's inside. That fragile sticker? At best, it might get your bag placed on top. At worst, it's ignored completely, and the result can be devastating. Cracked camera lenses, broken laptops, souvenirs reduced to pieces of glass and ceramic. Travelers are left furious, but airlines cover themselves with fine print. They aren't liable for most damage to electronics, valuables, or fragile items packed in checked luggage. So what's the fix? The only real protection is to never trust the sticker. If it's valuable, carry it on. That means laptops, cameras, jewelry, or anything you can't replace easily should stay by your side, not in the belly of the plane. If you absolutely must check something delicate, wrap it in layers of clothing, place it in the center of your suitcase, and cushion it on all sides. Even then, it's still a risk. The smartest travelers know the truth. Fragile is an illusion. The only guarantee is what you keep with you. And even if your valuables survive the flight, there's another enemy waiting to strike. A silent one, building up hour by hour in the cabin itself. It won't break your stuff, but it can break you. The relentless roar of jet noise, the dehydration, the fatigue. And that's where jet lag begins. The seatbelt sign clicks off. The plane is in the air. At first, everything feels fine. You settle in, maybe put on a movie, maybe close your eyes. But as the hours drag on, something strange happens. Your head feels heavy. Your body aches. Even though you haven't moved much, you're already exhausted. The culprit isn't just jet lag from crossing time zones. It's the cabin itself. Here's the part most travelers never realize. Airplane cabins are loud, constantly. Noise levels inside economy can reach 85 decibels, about the same as standing next to a busy freeway. That relentless roar of engines batters your ears for hours, and your brain has to fight it non-stop. Scientists call it noise fatigue, and it drains your energy long before you land. Pair that with dehydration, the dry cabin air sapping moisture from your body, and you've got the perfect recipe for exhaustion, brain fog, and headaches the moment you step off the plane. Airlines won't warn you about this. Why would they? They'd rather sell you overpriced bottled water and flimsy earplugs. But you don't have to play their game. Here's how to fight back. First, invest in noise-canceling headphones or even high-quality foam earplugs. Cutting that constant roar down by 10 or 15 decibels gives your brain the rest it needs. Second, hydrate smarter. Don't just sip plain water. Bring electrolyte packets or tablets to replace what your body loses. Third, use a simple nasal spray to fight the dry air and keep your sinuses clear. These small hacks don't just make the flight bearable. They let you arrive feeling human again, because the goal isn't just surviving the flight. It's landing ready to enjoy your trip instead of wasting the first day in a fog. But here's the twist. Comfort isn't the only secret airlines don't want you knowing. Because while noise drains your body, there's another loophole that could save you hundreds of dollars, hidden in plain sight, disguised as something you already carry for free, your so-called personal item. You've made it through the noise, the fatigue, and the endless rules. But the airline still has one last trick up its sleeve. The carry-on size game. Gate agents hover near the boarding lane, eyeing every rolling suitcase like hawks. One wrong move and you're told, "That's too big. You'll need to check it." But here's what they don't advertise. While airlines obsess over carry-ons, they almost never enforce strict rules on personal items. That's the bag that goes under the seat in front of you. Your backpack, tote, or laptop case. And this is where the loophole lies. Travelers who know the system use this rule to double their packing power. Instead of a tiny laptop sleeve, they bring expandable underseat duffels or structured backpacks that hold nearly as much as a small suitcase. Soft bags slide under the seat more easily, and because they don't look bulky, gate agents rarely question them. Why does this work? Simple psychology. Agents focus on what's visible. The rollerboards lined up in the jetway. The bags struggling to fit incisors. But a backpack? A duffel slung over your shoulder? It looks harmless. It looks normal. And most of the time, it slips by without a word. The fix is straightforward. Invest in a bag designed to maximize this loophole. Underseat suitcases, expandable travel backpacks, or duffels with hidden compartments. Pack your heaviest items here: laptops, books, toiletries, even an extra change of clothes. That way, even if your official carry-on gets challenged, you've already secured a backup with nearly as much capacity. This one trick can save you hundreds of dollars in baggage fees over time. And it gives you peace of mind knowing you'll always have what you need, right under the seat in front of you. And with this final hack, you've beaten the system. But before we wrap up, let's pull everything together. Because the real victory isn't just knowing the rules, it's walking through the airport with total confidence, prepared for anything. Take a breath. Think back to everything you've just uncovered. The hidden weight traps at the gate, the water bottles flagged as suspicious, the 12-ounce powder rule, the perfumes, the snacks, the smart luggage bands. Every single one of these was designed to catch you off guard, to stress you out, to make airlines money while leaving you scrambling. But not anymore. Now you know the playbook. You know how to shift heavy items into your personal bag, how to beat the luxury liquid trap, how to avoid those crushing $300 agriculture fines. You know how to stay comfortable on long-haul flights and how to outsmart seat assignments and overhead bin shuffles. Most importantly, you're no longer just a passenger. You're a prepared traveler. And that's the advantage airlines never want you to have. Because when you walk through the airport with confidence, their tricks don't work anymore. The stress falls away. You save money, you save time, and you protect your trip from being ruined before it even begins. So here's your next step. Use these hacks the next time you fly. Share them with someone you know who's always stressed at the airport. And if this video gave you even one moment of relief, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and join the community of travelers who refuse to be caught off guard. And I'll leave you with this. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen flagged at security? Was it your own bag or someone else's? Drop it in the comments below, because every story we share makes us all smarter, stronger, and more ready for the skies. Because the smartest traveler is the prepared traveler.